Hello, everyone, and a very special Women's Day to all of you. Today's conversation is going to be truly inspiring for many of you in the BA community. We have with us Marin, who's currently working as a senior business analyst with one of the largest logistic companies in the world. What makes her journey special is she started her career as an electrical design engineer coming from a non-IT background and successfully transitioned into IT business analyst space. So in this discussion, we'll talk about her journey, the challenges she faced, the lessons she learned, and the inspiration behind her transition. If you are someone aspiring to become a business analyst, I am sure you will take away a lot from this conversation. Let's get started. So, thank you so much, Marin, for joining us today. I'm very sure this conversation is going to inspire the BA community and especially the women trying to enter this role. So, to start with, Marin, can you briefly introduce yourself and tell us about your professional journey before becoming a business analyst?
So hi, Dipanshu. So thank you for having me here. This is a great opportunity to share my story to other women and inspire them. So I'm Marin. I'm currently working as a senior business analyst at Mediterranean Shipping Company. From the name, you know that it is the shipping and logistics domain and one of the largest companies in the world. So before I started out as a business analyst, I wasn't one. I wasn't from any technical background itself. I was from a very non-technical background. I was working as an electrical design engineer. So it is all about the power systems, the T&EB, which is the electricity board part and all that. So it was actually a small scale industry. So I was from a small scale industry and I had some big dreams, but I didn't know how to achieve all those things. But at the right time, certain interventions happened. I realized my path wasn't right and I decided to move on things aligned. So I'm here.
Awesome, awesome. One of my observation, Marin, whenever I'm interacting with someone coming from non-IT background, one of their biggest fear is that if we have to enter into IT industry, we should be aware of technical jargons. We should be little confident on the technical aspect. So my question to you coming from a non-IT background, what made you start thinking about transition into business analyst role? What was your inspiration?
So one of my major inspirations was identifying the gap between my potential and what I was actually doing at work. So I, for one, while working there, I knew that I had better communication skills than what I was actually using then. And also I had analytical thinking, but all those things I wasn't using it into work. So I felt like these skill sets are not being used and I really wanted to make use of them because you can only, enhance what you are already possess instead of learning new things and doing something. See, that is also needed, but you should also make sure that you can make use of what you actually possess. So at that time, I was trying to transition into some of the IT roles, and it should be a bit of non-technical role as well because I wasn't familiar with the technology or anything. I was not exposed to coding or anything. So in that case, I actually came across the BA role because the major skill set needed for a BA role was the communication, analytical thinking, the ability to understand business process, empathize and interact with stakeholders, and almost it is majorly driven on the communication and the understanding part. So I actually felt that I could be able to do it. So that was my major reason why I decided to transition into BA. But speaking of the technical jargons and everything, definitely once you want to do something, there is obviously going to be some stoppers or obstacles, but you need to find a way to get through all those things.
Amazing, amazing, Marin. So my observation says whenever we are trying to transition from that non-IT to IT business analyst opportunity, it comes up with a package of a lot of self-doubt and a lot of self-realizations. So what were some of those biggest challenges you faced during that journey when you were trying to plan and you were looking for that transition to
Okay, I had a lot of self doubt.
happen?
I was a person full of self doubt, no confidence at all, because I have never been the confident person who would voluntarily come up, offer a thought, or say comment on anything, or do anything like that. So I had to literally change my persona for that, all those things. So I carefully assess myself. I actually worked whatever I had to do for that. So in that way, I realized that the technical background was one of the major things that actually stood as an obstacle for me. So my fear was also about competing with all the IT professionals and everything. So I
Yes.
spent a lot of time learning all those things. I had an opportunity to communicate with other business analysts as well. They also gave me some insights and everything. So it happened that way.
Amazing, amazing. So, I've often observed people saying that behind every successful man, there is a woman. But in your case, I believe your husband Hamilton has been incredibly supportive and was also one of those who recommended you in my program. If I believe, again, first he joined and then you again join my program. So today, both of you are part of our alumni community, and I think most of you, again, my alumni are considering both of you as the celebrity couple. So, what is that message you want to give to the community, Marin, on terms of that motivation? As in, if your husband and you, how you are collectively tried to transition, and what was his contribution in the again the support system that he showcased back there?
Yeah, sure. My husband was one of the major reasons why I took PIBA. Actually, he was referred into PIBA by another alumni, Bindu Krishna. So when
Oh,
he joined, he
amazing.
actually motivated me to join as well. I was very doubtful about taking on this course and doing everything because I knew that BA was the role for it, but I'm not sure whether a course could actually bridge all those gaps that I had and help me land a job. But he motivated me to do all that because at that time he had some 3 to 4 years of IT experience, whereas I was actually a complete newbie. So whenever I lacked something or whenever I had doubt, I would initially look up to him. So when I turned to him, he was the one who gave me some insights or some methods or some ways to approach things and everything right from the time when I was attending PIBA and doing all those what to say the homework, which is the little assignments that we were given. From the time that from that time to the time when I attended the interviews and facing the daily challenges at work, he has always been there as a motivation. So one major thing I would say is that before you start doing anything, it is important to seek your family support because doing something like a transition or embarking on a new journey, it requires a lot of mental effort and the calmness and everything. So if your family and the home scenario is going to be chaotic, then it is going to be a little difficult. It cannot be calm for everyone, but you can actually find some middle ground and find some place where you can calm down. You can ask for help. People might be ready to help you as well. So it is important to tap into that space to make sure that you're mentally ready to take everything.
That's so true, Marin. I think one important point that you mentioned is the support of family and that constant source of motivation. Because if we are not motivated in that journey, it is very difficult for us to reach where we always wanted to. And having said that, Marin, you recently embraced motherhood as well. So, how did you manage this beautiful phase of your life while continuing to pursue your professional aspirations?
Okay. So to continue the professional journey and embrace motherhood, this is the most trickiest part where a lot of women actually give up. Even I have been in that place where I've thought like, okay, this is time. I'll just take a break for 1 or 2 years and then return back. But then again, I start thinking, oh my God, that amount of energy, the effort that I've been putting to get here, it'll all go into waste. Because once you take a break, your mind gets a very, what to say, it gets lazy to be frank and to bring yourself to work again and to think about all those things, it is very difficult. So I decided that I shouldn't leave the momentum. So at that time, I also thought that, okay, fine, this is the time I should set some boundaries, intentional goals. Maybe like say that if it is going to be 24 hours a day, maybe I should set aside intentionally 1 hour to upskill myself or to learn about what is happening or not to lose track of what is actually happening at work and everything. So that actually helped me. And also the motherhood part was like, it gave me some instant superpowers. It made me think like, okay, I have a little one. I need to take decisions for him. I need to take care of him. I am solely responsible for that person. It actually gave me a lot of leadership qualities and the
Amazing.
mindset. It made sure that I was like, okay, fine. If it is going to be a tough thing, okay, I can take it up because I came through all these journey. I was able to handle all this amidst my tiredness, my pain, and everything. I'll be able to do all these things. So that is how I actually motivate myself throughout this journey.
Amazing. That's so inspiring for the community to hear about your story, Marin. And I believe if Hamilton is on your side, pretty much the motherhood and all, both of you will definitely be able to balance with the way you are putting efforts on your professional space. I'm pretty sure he's also trying to support you on your personal journey as well.
Definitely. I would say that I'll be lucky and blessed in this part.
So I remember my conversation with Hamilton, where he messaged me a couple of months back saying he was one of a BA who was chosen to went outside for like on site for the requirement gathering. We had a very detailed discussion about what points you have to consider part of requirement workshop. And I'm very glad that I think a week back he messaged in our alumni network that successfully he got an opportunity in EY as a business analyst. So I think Marin, both of you are supportive enough that I don't think you need motivation from outside. Both of you yourself is trying to support each other in the best possible way to make sure that motivation is intact and both of you are doing that professional upskilling required.
Definitely, I should say that that is the case here only because we came across PIBA in the beginning. Because before PIBA, both of us had a different mindset. We weren't very aware of. I knew that we had the skill set, but we didn't know how to crack the interview. Because even though you possess the skill set, you should be able to crack the interview for you to go and perform there. Without that, that is nothing is going to happen, right? So I would say that the interview clearing skills and everything, the practical aspects of using whatever the learned skills, everything, it actually played a huge role. So with our work and with our daily task and everything,
Yes.
it has become a very safe space for us to discuss and learn from each other's mistakes and achievements and everything. So I think it is about putting yourself out there and gaining information for yourself.
Yes, yes. That's amazing, Marin. So one of a fear that I'm observing in IT space, especially if I talk about business analyst role is with AI coming in, how we are, I mean, the BAs, whether we should fear of AI or how much of contribution, how much of usage of AI we're going to do part of our job. So Marin, part of your organization, part of what is your observation with AI coming in, how do you see the impact of AI in business analysis?
The impact of AI business analysis is that I don't think it can completely replace what business analysts do. You can ask AI or you can use something to create something better, but it cannot replace what humans can contribute to it. The critical thinking part, other what to say, empathizing part, all these things I don't think AI can replace because stakeholder management is something that comes from the human interaction. I don't think AI can replace all those things. So I'm not sure about the other sectors of IT, but with the business analysis, I don't think AI will completely replace. Maybe we can make use of all those AI tools and improve ourselves, but definitely not replace it.
That's a very good thought process, Marin. That instead you are trying to like fear of AI, you are trying to leverage AI to the fullest, making sure that you are now more confident and skilled business analyst in 2026. So that's again a very good anecdote that the community should learn from you. So Marin, as we celebrate Women's Day, what message would you like to share with women who are thinking of restarting their career or looking for the ITBA transition?
Restarting their career and ITBA direction. ITBA direction is the only thing that I've known for so far, for so long. So I would say that it is about the continuous learning and everything. You cannot end yourself or like cannot put a pass with one set of skill sets or one set of knowledge that you have gained over the last 1 or 2 years. You need to consistently and continuously upskill yourself. You should be aware of what is happening in your field, what is happening in your office, what is happening in your domain and everything. So that it has to happen. You cannot take a break on that. Even if you're on a break, you need to spend at least maybe once in a week or twice, maybe to learn about what is happening exactly. So if you're going to restart the career, you should also acknowledge that, okay, you have taken a break. You have to put some extra effort to bridge that gap. And that is how you will be able to approach the return to work scenario. Because just because you have taken a break for 1 or 2 years and you have become a mother, industry or no company is going to hand over an offer letter for you. It is always about what you bring to the table. So you should be ready to acknowledge that and you should be ready to work on yourself. You need to set intentional time blocks for yourself and you have to work on all those things. That is the only way you can return back to work and be a successful employee.
Amazing. Amazing. I think that is going to help a lot of those professionals, especially the women who are trying to enter the IT business analyst opportunity merit. So thank you so much for this interaction. I mean, spending this much of time, and I'm very sure the community is going to take a lot of inspiration from this conversation we had. So I wish you
Maybe
happy Women's
Dipanshu.
Day, Marin. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dipanshu. But also, I need to say one more thing.
Yes.
One more thing is that if you're going to restart the career or if you're coming back from a break, don't think that what I should do before I start and do something to get back into a job. Just start doing something so that you'll eventually find yourself there.
So true, Marin. Thank you
Yeah.
so very much for joining us today. I wish you good rest of your day. Thanks again, Mary. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.